Today I will be talking about my top 10 coasters that I've ridden. I've only been on 47 roller coasters, so I've not been on a lot of the great coasters of the United States, and definitely not across the world. But I have been to Cedar Point, Kings Island, Islands of Adventure, SeaWorld Orlando, and Magic Kingdom. The way I rank rides is on a couple different things. I like rides with airtime that are smooth, have theming, and just overall enjoyable rides. But as of July 3rd, 2024, this is my list. Before we start, I have 3 honorable mentions that didn't make the top 10, being Mystic Timbers, Gatekeeper, and Top Thrill 2. For one reason or another, they didn't make the top 10, and Top Thrill 2 I just haven't been on yet. To start the list at 10, I got Manta at SeaWorld Orlando. People love to hate on flying coasters, but they are some of the most enjoyable rides in the world. Flying around, going through the turns and flips, laying down is a super cool experience that only a couple coasters can offer. The turns at the end, flying over the walkways in the water, is a nice touch, and all the inversions feel super smooth. And the pretzel loop is super intense and a crazy element, and probably the most intense element that I've been on. Next up is Pipeline the Surf Coaster at SeaWorld Orlando. This is my second favorite ride at SeaWorld Orlando, and this ride is amazing. The launch is really good, even though B&M doesn't do them often. And the little bunny hill has a lot of good airtime. All the airtime on this ride is super unique, and since you're standing up, when you go through the hills, it feels like you're being ejected because you're getting lifted up because of how the seats are. And at the end of the ride, there are some very intense turns that don't look like a lot, but are very good. This ride is a good mix of airtime and intense moments, and the stand-up coaster is much improved. At number 8 is the tallest coaster on this list, Millennium Force at Cedar Point. Millennium Force is so underrated, it's not even funny. The first drop is so good, it feels like it's never going to end, and the airtime is amazing. The first overbank is super intense, being 4.5 Gs of force. The airtime hills deliver mediocre airtime, and the overbanks can be repetitive, but they're still really fun. The final speed hill has great airtime, and the rest of the ride is really good, but if it had better airtime, this ride would be easily top 5. Surprise to many, but I got Haggards Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure at Islands of Adventure here. This ride is so enjoyable and great. All 7 launches are good, the backwards spike and the drop track are all my favorite parts of the ride. And obviously the theme is amazing and the best themed ride in the entire world. The theming from the queue to on ride is so detailed, it's crazy. And that's why it's the most expensive ride in the world at $300 million to build. I know it's just a family ride, but it's the best family ride in the world, and I'm willing to say it's the most diverse ride in the entire world. 6th on my list is Mako at SeaWorld Orlando. Mako is a very good B&M hyper that is exactly what you think of when you think of this ride model. The first drop is very good, giving good floater airtime. The 6-second floater hill feels like it lasts forever, and the airtime is so floaty. All the hills feel the exact same, and they're all amazing. The ride also has a speed hill, which is fun, and ejects you in a way that you wouldn't expect this type of ride too. But after the mid-course, the ride kind of dies off, and I wish it just had more hills instead of a twister section, because it doesn't hit the same for me. At number 5 is Diamondback at Kings Island. It might surprise many people that I have it above Mako, but I believe it's much better. The first drop are basically the same, but the hills deliver a much stronger airtime on Diamondback compared to Mako. Also, instead of a twister section at the end, it's just more hills, which do hit for me. Also, the splashdown is much better and more visually pleasing than Mako's finale. The only thing Mako has over it is smoother, but Diamondback isn't so rough to where it ruins the ride. Up next is Orion, also at Kings Island. People love to hate on this ride, saying it's boring and it's not a real Giga, but this ride is an adrenaline rush. The first drop is the best that I've been on. It feels like it never ends and you're just being launched from your seat. The outer bank might not give any airtime, but being 200 feet up sideways is just really cool looking at the ground. All the airtime from the normal hill to the speed hill is really good, and the helix is actually pretty intense and sustained. And the final dip giving off-bank airtime is really unique. Overall, a fun adrenaline rush that is really overhated. The first ride of my top 3 is Maverick at Cedar Point. This ride is just amazing. The first drop is the best at Cedar Point and even better than Steel Vengeance. The turns are so whippy and the airtime is so intense. People like to say that the horseshoe rolls are boring, but it's 2 0G rolls, and who doesn't like 0G rolls? And the launch to start the second half is so powerful, throwing you sadly into a trim, but then you hit the most whippy elements that I've been on, the Stangle dives. Then you hit one more intense airtime moment and hit the brakes. The ride is intense and a great number 2 for the best amusement park in the entire world. My number 2 spot is Velocicoaster at Islands of Adventure. This is Maverick if it was a modern state-of-the-art roller coaster with immaculate theming. The Raptor paddock is so cool and the rockwork makes you feel like you're about to hit your head on every single turn. Then you hit the second launch, which is tied with Maverick for being the best launch that I've actually been on. After the launch, you hit an amazing top hat with great whip and airtime in the back, and looking at the top hat from the front of the entrance is super cool while you walk in. Then you hit the stall and outer bank, giving great airtime and off-bank airtime. Then you hit the best element on the ride, the Mosasaurus roll. The Mosasaurus roll feels like you're being flung into the water, and it's amazing and the best ending to any ride that I've been on. Overall, this is the best ride on the list and the best experience from start to finish, but there's one that I like a little bit more. At number 1 is Steel Vengeance at Cedar Point. This ride is perfect for me, and what hasn't been said about this ride already? This ride is the most airtime out of all rides in the entire world, and the injector is so powerful, and night rides are incredible. All the inversions are whippy and smooth, and this is one of the smoothest rides in the entire world. The length is unmatched, has no dead spots. Steel Vengeance is the definition of perfection in a roller coaster, and that is why it is number 1. Thanks for watching the video. Give me more suggestions down in the comments below because I like making videos, and I want to know exactly what you guys want to watch so that I can make it. And other than that, have a great day.